Cern Basher is among the privileged now. And I mean, seriously privileged. It's not about being from New Zealand. It's not about living in Florida. It's all about the fact that he has gotten 14.1.7 on his Cybertruck. So, Cern, talk to us, man. You're like, we all wish we were you.
Yeah, and I wish I had more time to test it out, but I've taken it for one drive today, Randy. And the cool thing was my truck was parked in my garage, and I think I selected a destination like Whole Foods or something, not really intending to go there, but just to give it a place to go. The truck backed out of my garage,
Yeah,
to my surprise,
yeah.
and just went. Right. I mean, I had to like scramble to close the garage door before, we were down the block.
Don't you have that premium where you're automatically closes the garage door for you?
I do not. Yeah, I'm missing out. Hopefully Optimus can take care of that for me in the future.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be a big one.
Yeah. But I put it on Mad Max mode just to see.
Oh, okay.
And actually, I didn't really detect any Mad Max type behavior on the trip that I did.
Hmm.
It actually seemed kind of tentative.
Oh,
Um, but there was on the road, I was on a two-lane road. A car ahead of me got pulled over by a police motorbike, and the truck actually was very responsive to those flashing lights
hmm. Okay.
and pulled over kind of actually unnecessarily into the left lane.
Okay.
We were going very slow, approaching a red light, and so if I was driving, I wouldn't have pulled over to give extra space because I w wasn't going fast.
Right. Right.
But the truck wanted to pull over into the left lane,
Hmm.
so fine.
Hmm.
Other than that, it was a very uneventful experience. And then when I got home, I opened the garage door and the truck pulled right on in. I didn't have to tell it to do that. It just did it. The first time it's ever happened. Usually it just pulls up in front of my house,
Really?
sometimes even further down the street and
I
just
was going to
stops.
say, I have to disconnect as soon as I turn the corner into our block. I have to disengage and pull into the driveway because it has no idea where I live.
Yeah, no, it parked perfectly in my garage.
Nice.
So that was my first experience with that, and it was perfect. I didn't have any issues.
Nice. Well, that's a great start. I was mentioning to you in the green room that my 12.6 is absolutely amazing. I mean, I did have to give it I was turning right into a fairly busy street this morning, and the right-hand lane was completely open, and the left-hand lane was completely jammed, but moving, maybe at 15, 20 miles an hour. And it just would not make the right turn. I had to goose it.
Mm.
But other than that, my goodness, it's been absolutely amazing.
Have you heard anybody talk about this phenomenon? So we were in Austin last week with my wife's Model Y,
Hmm.
not the Cybertruck.
Right.
And she noticed driving around Austin on standard or hurry mode that it was way more aggressive in Austin than it was here in Sarasota, Florida.
Funny.
And she was wondering if that was the case or if she was just perceiving it. And then I got behind the wheel and with FSD, I sort of felt the same thing too. The car just seemed more confident in Austin, right? And again, this is a hardware 3 model. It's not like we're running version 14 on this one.
Oh,
Uh,
interesting. Yeah.
so that was interesting to me. It just felt way more assertive. And I don't know if there's any truth to that or if we were just fooling ourselves. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm in an area where there's just thousands and thousands of model of any kind.
Yeah.
And it's very assertive here. I mean, it'll make lane changes I probably wouldn't have made.
Mm.
Kind of butts in, turns on the blinker, gives everybody full
Yeah.
notice, but then just goes for it
Right.
in situations that I'm not sure I would have. But I let it. Well,
Yep.
speaking of Cybertrucks and all that stuff, I understand that you have a slideshow for us today. Maybe I should let you have the ability for you to actually show them. We've
That would be great.
solved that. Okay.
In honor of today's market action, Randy, we have this red Cybertruck.
I see.
I've been saving this one up for a while. Actually, no, I think it was posted today.
Okay.
But Jim McPherson here says I picked the right color for my Cybertruck, and I think he's
Yeah,
right, at least for today.
yeah.
But that's
I actually saw it on the freeway that was green, so I don't know. It's confusing.
well, we hopefully we see more green ones,
Right.
tomorrow and next week. This was pretty cool. This Cybertruck was spotted at Bush International in Houston,
Hmm.
and if we zoom in here, we see a Star Wars themed Cybertruck
Uh-huh.
with it looks like what are those Japanese trees? The
Oh yeah.
cherry
Yeah.
blossoms.
Yeah, cherry blossoms. Yeah. Yeah.
So it looks like a cherry blossom Star Wars theme. But the one thing I noticed is how clean the tires were.
Oh yeah.
If you drive around on public streets, it's pretty hard to keep the truck tires clean. So this is
Right.
impressive. This person really takes care of his or her truck.
Every time they get out of it, they take out the
Yeah,
tire.
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we have to slip this in here somewhere.
Okay. All
There it
right.
is. Um, Bearded Tesla. He now has a gold laminated Cybertruck, and apparently they laminated two products together to get this color.
Hmm.
And here's a little bit more of a zoomed in look. It's pretty stunning.
So it's still the polyurethane or whatever they use in these wraps, but it's two layers.
That's what he says. It
Okay.
required laminating two products together.
Okay.
Yeah, the color didn't exist, so they
Wow.
had to combine two colors.
Wow. Okay.
So pretty amazing. I don't dare ask how much it cost.
Right.
But when you go for a gold Cybertruck, cost is no object,
That's right.
obviously.
Of course. Of course not. Yeah.
All right, here's another angle. It's pretty stunning.
He's going to have to offer the president a ride now that he's got the gold version.
I think so.
Yeah.
And it's interesting here, he chose to put the Cybercab logo here on the front. So he's
Oh,
preparing for a future when, it can be put into service.
yeah.
Okay. Now, here, Randy, when you see this next image, you'll realize that Cybertruck is perfectly designed.
Okay.
Okay. This will be plainly obvious when you look at this next image. Look at that. It's in a parking garage and it is perfectly designed for this parking garage.
That is
I'm
wild.
pretty sure there was a Tesla engineer that tried to park his truck in here one time and probably hit the back of it.
There you go.
And he
Yeah.
said, if it's the last thing I do in my life, I'm going to design a vehicle that fits in this garage. And they've done it. Maybe it was even Elon himself that
Yeah.
scratched
Yeah.
his car in this garage.
Might have been.
Yeah. Now that is something special for
That
sure.
is, that's special. And now I've also seen though, maybe it was you that showed us a long time ago some pictures of somebody's home that they were kind of designing around the Cybertruck to create, some of the same
Yeah.
angles or something. And I forget
Yeah.
exactly how that was.
No, that would be beautiful. Absolutely. Here's an interesting one. If you wrap your Cybertruck green, it looks awesome, but bears think it's a dumpster.
Hmm.
We got a surprise while loading up this morning from Michael Williams. Bears appreciate beautiful things too. Clearly this bear is looking for a ride. Actually, he's probably looking to get into the hills or something somewhere.
Yeah, yeah, maybe that's it.
Yeah, but yeah, you might want to be careful sometimes. You might want to check who's in the back. I suppose that's why there's a cover on the back of the truck, Randy, so that you keep the
That's
bears
it.
out.
Keep bears out. Yeah, yeah.
Right. Now, here's a true Cybertruck dumpster.
I might have seen this one somewhere along the line.
Yeah, and this is actually posted by the official Cybertruck account, and
I
it says won
see.
the costume contest.
Oh, I see. Okay. So they might have built this themselves as a,
Maybe,
yeah,
maybe
yeah.
they should sell these. This actually
That's
would
right.
probably sell
That's
pretty
right.
well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and then here's a beautiful thing. It's always good to have reflection in your life,
Yeah.
says Coast Rider 5. That's a pretty stunning image.
It
And
is.
here we have a closer up one.
Yeah.
You get nature behind and nature in front. And then speaking of nature, this is the ultimate Cybertruck photo as far as I'm concerned. This is again from Coast Rider 5. My friend Steven took this picture of his Cybertruck and sent it to me. I thought that this was awesome and should be in a magazine or something.
Right.
Um, so here's that image. up on a rock. So it takes a pretty confident driver to park your truck on a rock like this.
Man, I guess so. Or unpark it. I
Well,
think
that too.
the parking might have been the easy part.
Yeah. No, going backwards is a little bit more challenging perhaps than going forward, but um,
Four-wheel drive is going to come in handy with this. I mean, the fact
very
that
much so.
all four turn is going to be
Yeah.
helpful.
But it does look kind of at home in that environment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And then for those that think that EVs don't work so well in the cold, Trent Sizemore probably would disagree with you. He says, my little town of West Yellowstone, Montana holds the all-time record lowest temperature for any residential community in the lower 48 states, minus 66 Fahrenheit or minus 54 Celsius. And he says, yet we've gone fully EV for nearly a year now. Ask me anything, he says.
Uh-huh.
I've never experienced minus 54. I think I've experienced something like minus 45 Celsius.
Outside? You went outside in it?
Yeah, in Canada when I was growing up in Canada.
So my sister says that when you go outside, first your nose hairs freeze and then your tears. Is that about right?
Pretty much anything exposed is, yeah. I remember one time when I was younger, I was a runner and I was running at about minus 30 Celsius,
Mm. Oh,
uh, which I think is pretty similar in Fahrenheit, if I recall. And basically all I had visible was my eye, like a little slit between my cap and my thing
yeah.
that covered my nose.
Yeah.
But because you're breathing, all that steam comes up and just freezes on your eyelashes. So I had these long icicles on my eyelashes when I finished running. Yeah.
Yeah, I've just lost a lot of respect for you. Now, some people are probably respecting you for that. I'm going, what did you do that for?
Well, this was back when I was, 16 years old, and yeah. If I had a Cybertruck back then, Randy, I wouldn't have needed to do that.
That's right. That's right. Heck, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's
All
what
right.
champions are made of, because you were, of course, the number one in Canada. So getting out there early in the cold like that, I mean, that's the respect side.
It took dedication to get to that point. That's for sure.
100%.
Yeah. All right. Before everybody leaves us, is one last Cybertruck image, and the most important one. Love is the answer, Randy.
I got it. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know where this truck was seen. A friend of mine actually sent me this photo. I don't know where she saw it. I blurred out the license plate just to protect the person, but
Yeah.
That's pretty nice.
Yeah. Very nice. Yeah.
All right. For those that love semi, the Tesla Semi participated in the Reno Veterans Day Parade.
I see.
And here's a close-up of the truck. Looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
With the teeth. I think kids in the audience would appreciate that.
100%.
And then it was part of this long line of Teslas, including a couple Cybertrucks.
Okay.
All right. And then last but not least for vehicles, we've got the Model Y versus the Model Y L.
Oh.
And you can kind of see how the Model Y L there on the right is a little bit stretched.
Yeah.
Not hugely so. Maybe this image was like maybe taken with a fisheye lens or something. It kind of stretches it anyway, but
Maybe.
You can kind of see how the car's been lengthened a bit.
Yeah. And interesting that the glass top also stretched.
Yeah, I don't know how they stretch the glass, Randy. Do you know how they do that?
Never mind. I got nothing.
Now, I guess the next version is Model Y instead of L, is it Model Y Limo, where they really stretch it?
Yeah, yeah.
So that would be fun. I think Lars should make a limo version Model Y.
Of course, absolutely.
Or Cybertruck would be even more fun. All right, enough of that. Let's get into more serious stuff. So today's market action is no fun for really any investor.
Right.
We've got a little cartoon here that says, I'm easily triggered by the market. And his friend says, that explains why you keep shooting yourself in the foot. So this is an important thing as an investor, is not shoot ourselves in the foot and have some perspective. Courtesy of AJ here, he says, based on the current share price for Tesla, which is 402 at the time, I think today we closed just under 402. He says, was flat for almost the last 5 years. We hit the current price in January 2021.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's been a challenging time as a Tesla investor. If you bought 5 years ago, roughly 5 years ago, you're still flat. And
Yeah,
then
I
also
don't,
this year,
I don't know, but it's one of my, what do you want to call it? My hobby horses that it's not necessarily flat for 5 years. It might be flat for exactly 5 years,
yeah,
but if it's 5 years and a month, you might be up 20%
well, that's right.
or down 20%.
That's right. Yeah, we're talking to the, 200 people that bought exactly at that point, I suppose.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. And then he's also pointing out that Tesla's flat year to date.
Oh, okay.
Started trading the year at around 400.
Hmm.
So continues to be a wild ride. We should expect that. Nothing has changed as far as stock market action. It's not indicative necessarily of anything to do with the company. It's just other forces at work from time to time.
Yeah, well, today it was pretty obvious that it was following the market. People argue with me on the internet today, but the reality is you can just put it up against the Nasdaq, put it up against Nvidia. It was just exactly the same patterns.
Yep. Yeah, we seem to have some people out there that think that the AI trade, quote unquote, is over.
Yeah, yeah.
So we'll see how long that lasts. Those people can sell and move on. Yeah. Again, here's from AJ. He says, quick update on the Tesla chart. Chart assumes 400 for the stock. He said, let's be clear. The only reason Tesla moved recently into the 400 range was Elon's Tesla purchase, according to AJ. And he says, hence a major pullback on the market. Weakness was the likely outcome, minus $70 since early October high. He says, we're in this tricky period where a lot of great things are about to kick off, but the current business is simply too far away from the current valuation. Fine. If you're focused on near term, absolutely.
Mhm.
And number four, he says, hence, as I said before, the next few months could be bumpy if the market isn't supportive. Fine. That's not a particularly brave statement. And then number five, however, super strong hyperscaler earnings will keep the market up. The problem is that all except NVIDIA just reported.
Yeah.
So will NVIDIA save the market here in November?
So you and I also talked before we started about Tom Lee. I'm becoming a big fan of Tom Lee, and his Fundstrat group predicted this exact action just a couple of days ago. A few days ago, they said they thought it would be rocky until the middle of the month, but that we would ultimately close at all-time highs at the end of the month and move up nicely into the maybe even S&P 7,200 or more before the end of the year.
Well, that's fantastic. The middle of the month is 2 or 3 days away. So
Mhm.
the pain is over, Andy.
The pain is over.
Um, this was a post I did in response to Elon a couple days ago. He says, that's wild that often the same people who say that Tesla is overvalued and will come crashing down are the same ones who say that a stock award contingent on Tesla being way more valuable than any other company ever is too high. So I wrote a little conversation here, Randy. Imagine how this might go.
Okay, okay.
So from the redistribute the pie people, that's a
Mhm.
way of describing some of these folks. Quote, it's crazy that Elon will be paid 1 trillion. No person should be worth that much. No one person should be worth that much. And then the response from grow the pie people. In order for Elon to earn 1 trillion, Tesla has to materially grow its earnings and market value. Along the way, more jobs will be created and billions of taxes will be paid, and we'll have a healthier and safer world. Well, the response from the redistribute the pie people, yeah, sure, that's cool, but Tesla is so overvalued, it's never going to happen. So the grow the pie people response says, but I thought you said that you don't like that Elon will receive 1 trillion. You know that if he doesn't create millions of new products and grow the company's earnings, then if the market value of the company doesn't grow, he gets nothing, right? Response, then why did Tesla shareholders give him $1 trillion?
I,
There's no response to that.
well, yeah. Oh my goodness. Yes.
But isn't that what we've been hearing lately? Is both of these
Both.
arguments?
It's like you just can't, there's no winning. There's no getting it through their thick skulls.
Yeah.
There's a dependency relationship here. And to your point about how much wealth, how much taxes that it's going to create, not only the company paying taxes, but the employees, the suppliers, everybody's paying taxes. It's going to be billions and billions, hundreds of billions of dollars. And I had posted this kind of like you did in kind of a headline version. And if anybody hasn't seen Larry Goldberg's version of it, it was the version I intended to do.
Yeah. I was just going to say, Larry wrote a really nice piece that actually got a lot of traction, so that was great to
Right.
see.
That was a fantastic piece. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, go check that out. I probably should have included it here if I would have had time. Perhaps you and Larry can talk about it next time you see him.
That's it.
He's off to the Barron Investor Conference on
Indeed,
Friday.
where Elon is going to speak tomorrow, I understand.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, so back to the market, Randy.
Yep.
From Charlie here, he says far more money has been lost by investors preparing for corrections or trying to anticipate corrections than has been lost in corrections themselves. And I'm sorry, this is not Charlie's quote, but Peter Lynch, the
Right.
great Peter Lynch.
Yep.
And this is kind of an interesting chart, and people have probably seen this before, but it's worth kind of reminding ourselves. The blue bars represent the gain in any given year for the S&P 500.
Hmm.
Okay. And you can see that there's mostly up, but there's a few down years and a few big down years. So you can
Right.
see there in 2008, down 37%.
Right.
The last big down year was 2022, down 18%. But even on the years where the market was up a lot, in the 30s there many times, there was always a point in the year where the market was down for a
Of
period of
course.
time, right? Some of the drawdowns are pretty big.
Yeah.
So that's just the nature of markets. It's not something to be too upset about. It's no fun watching the value of your portfolio decline, but you shouldn't get too hung up about that in the short term.
Yeah.
If you do, it's gonna be a difficult time for you as an investor if you get too upset about it.
Well, I also posted the other day, I said, you either believe that we are going to have full self-driving, unsupervised, and robotaxis in the hundreds of thousands, if not millions, over the next 12, 18 months, or you don't. If we have those, the math is simple.
Yeah.
You can do the math. You can see exactly what kind of revenue that's going to generate, or some kind of an idea of what the revenue is. You
Yep.
and I have done it.
Yep.
And if that happens, then there's no way Tesla isn't in the thousands, unless the market decides to give it a 10 PE or something, which would be crazy since the growth should be on the order of 50% a year or maybe more. But anyway, and that doesn't even count Optimus and semi trucks that drive themselves and whatnot. There's so many irons that are going to materialize this year. And then we just added another one the other day, and I keep talking about it because I can't stop talking about it. Brian Wang and I did a video the other day talking about the space, the data center
Terafab.
space,
Yep.
Terafab, and the data centers in space. And nobody
Yep.
can do it like Brian Wang. Other people can say, "Oh, there's going to be data centers in space," but Brian's got the amount you can put on a starship, how many starships you'd have to launch, what that would look like. I mean, just on and on. And he believes basically at some point, maybe 10 years from now, all data centers will be in space or the moon or Mars.
Sure. Yeah. And I think a lot of other industry will be in space as well. It's not just data centers.
Yes.
Hence why SpaceX may be a very attractive long-term investment.
Right.
But yeah. Yeah, no, Brian's great. Brian's done some solid work on that. Yep. Um, Shifting gears.
Okay.
Breaking news, Randy.
Yes.
The October U.S. inflation report was not released this morning due to the government shutdown.
Yes. Yes.
So what was expected to show? CPI at 3.1%, highest level in 17 months.
By 1%, or by 1.1%. Yeah.
By 0.1%. So that's the breaking news today. We didn't get that announcement.
Yes. Yes. Well, that's what it was expected to show. But then if you follow Trueflation, then you know that Trueflation is at least a 0.5% below what the CPI has been showing. And anybody that looks at if they either believe, again, this is kind of like you either believe the Fed chair or not, but the Fed chair says that 0.4 to 0.6% of this is price, not inflation. It's price based on tariffs.
Yeah.
And therefore, even if you take the 3.1 and take 5% off of that, you're at 2.6. So I think this is not that big a deal inflation-wise. I just, sorry, that's where I come.
You're alone in thinking that, Randy. Everybody else is freaking out. Yeah. Yeah. And speaking of freaking out, this
Oh,
guy's getting robbed. He says, "You're too late. I just went grocery shopping." It's a good inflation cartoon.
yeah, yeah. Good inflation cartoon. Perfect timing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's check in on the market.
Okay.
81% of the companies have reported earnings for the third quarter, and S&P operating earnings are on pace to hit another record high over the trailing 12 months, up 13% over last year.
Yeah.
So not bad.
Very good.
But I have some bad news.
Oh.
Only 7 companies have really contributed to that. Yeah.
Something like 50% of the total earnings growth was
Pretty much all.
pretty much all. Okay.
Yeah. This comment here, this is from Goldman Sachs. The S&P isn't what you think it is. The 500 implies diversification, but the Meg 7, Apple, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Nvidia, Meta, and Tesla now represent over 35% of the entire index. And since 2023, these 7 stocks generated nearly all the gains. The other 493 companies
Uh-huh.
barely keeping pace with inflation. Yes?
This is the stock price you're talking about, not the earnings.
This is this chart, I think, is the stock price, but I
Yeah.
think the earnings are similar, if I recall.
Okay.
I don't think there's much earnings growth in the rest of the S&P.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, I think we've looked at that before.
Yeah. Well, there's earnings growth for some and earnings loss for others. So you have or no earnings growth or negative
Yeah.
earnings growth.
Yeah,
So
it's not like there's no other companies
right,
growing earnings.
right,
It's just
right,
that there's a wash across those 493.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think 87% beat or 87 is the biggest number I've ever seen, but they said back in 2021 they had a bigger quarter.
Yep. So that's interesting. I'm not sure this is going to change anytime soon.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's certainly periods of time where the stocks, underperform, but
Right.
that tends to be fairly short and sweet period of time.
Well, also the guidance has been outstanding
Yeah.
this quarter. I don't remember the stat again, but it was again maybe the best since 2021, 2020, something like that.
Yep. Here's operating margin. Profit margins expanded 13.4% in Q3, their second highest level on record.
Hmm.
Um, so that's encouraging.
Yeah.
Um, I guess one of the knocks on the many of the Mag 7 is they've now become very CapEx intensive, capital
Okay.
intensive.
Mhm.
But, in the age of AI, that actually may be good because they're building moats in that sense. There's not many other companies that can spend the money that they're spending.
Well, and I haven't looked at this specifically, but I feel like this is true that the CapEx that they're spending is still allowing free cash flow
Yeah,
in
that's
in
right.
big amounts, big
Yeah,
amounts. Yeah.
which is pretty amazing
Yeah.
given the CapEx that they
Right.
are putting out. That's right. Yep. And if they didn't spend the CapEx, the free cash flow would be just through the roof.
Right.
Yeah. Another cartoon here. We've got a couple of bulls, and they look a little nervous. And one says, "Relax." He's smiling at the clown that has the word volatility on his shirt.
Well,
But that's always there.
I did ask Grok today why the VIX jumped because there was no news. I mean, maybe a little saber rattling on the point of the president with regard to you know incursions into Venezuela or Mexico, but I didn't think that was probably the reason for the VIX. The best thing that the VIX that Grok could come up with was one that the stock market dropped so much,
Hmm.
so therefore VIX was
Yeah.
following instead of leading, and the other was the uncertainty around the Fed, and you'll probably be talking about that in a minute.
Well, there's always uncertainty around the Fed, so we should be used to this by now. But it's funny how the market isn't.
Right.
Anyway, this is Berkshire Hathaway. They now have 382 billion in cash. And the quote from Warren Buffett here is, "Having loads of liquidity lets us sleep well during episodes of financial chaos that occasionally erupt in our economy. We will be equipped both financially and emotionally to play offense while others scramble for survival."
Uh-huh.
Great, great quote from Buffett there. Um,
Uh-huh.
so we'll see. We'll see if if
I
this
had
cash hoard is put to work anytime soon.
I'm pretty sure if I had $380 billion in cash, I'd be able to sleep at night.
I think so. I think I would worry about the purchasing power of that money,
Yeah, of
but
course, in cash, yeah.
I guess Buffett is he's done well following his playbook.
Well, of course, this is not really in cash, right? This would be in
Some
money
treasuries.
markets or treasuries or
Yeah,
yes,
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, some T-bills.
right.
Here's Chair Powell. The government shutdown. Now we lack data. It's like driving in the fog. And I was already lost.
And he literally says this. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like, I'm in the middle. I don't know what to do. What am I supposed to do? Yeah.
Can we get FSD for the Fed chair? Automatic self-driving for the Fed
Absolutely.
policy?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, some people have suggested that AI running the government would be a much better thing, and AI specifically running the Fed would probably be a much better thing.
Yeah. No, eventually that will make a lot of sense because it'll know far more than any
Right.
one person or even group of people.
Mhm.
Yep. All right. Fed funds expectations. This is fun. We're expecting a 25 basis point cut in December.
Right.
We're going to hold in January and March through March Madness. And once we get that out of the way, then we can cut again in April. We're going to hold in June. And in July, in the middle of summer, July 4th holiday, we're going to cut again.
Hmm.
So 3 cuts over the next 9 months or so.
Oh, does this include, I'm sorry, it includes a cut in December, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So, oh, I see. And only two then. Got it. Okay. Three total. All right. This is whose projection?
This is Fed funds futures.
Fed fund futures. Okay.
Yeah, which
And
is never
again,
wrong, Randy.
the Fed funds futures, I think, went from 67% chance for December to 50% chance in December, which is what Grok was claiming was part of the reason that the VIX jumped today.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we don't get our injection of lower interest rates, the market tends to freak out.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
I would wager to say that doesn't matter for companies like Tesla, who and these other Mag 7 companies that are going to invest no matter what happens to Fed funds. It's kind of puzzling to me how we worry so much about this, but we do. And of course, here's what happens, Randy. What will you do once the Fed cuts rates?
Yes.
Ask for another one. It's like if you give a moose a muffin kind of a story.
Yes, indeed.
You
Yes.
give a pig a pancake. Yeah, same story. All right. This is kind of interesting chart from Peter Maluk. The most compelling chart for being a stock market investor over the last 50 years. Inflation is up 6x. Dividends are up 21x. And the S&P total return is up 309x. Now, it's all well and good to look at the long run, but the unfortunate thing is we live in the short term.
Right.
And we tend to lose sight of some of this kind of information
Hmm. Hmm.
as we have days like today where it's painful to be an investor.
Hmm.
But these are good things to keep in mind.
Hmm. Hmm.
And then, of course, to extend that, we often look at this data, and
Right.
this is just over the last 13 years or so, 14 years. Just to give you some perspective of different asset classes and their returns, and then, of course, on the right side, the cumulative returns and those annualized numbers. Gold this year's up 52% through the end through November 7th. So that's about a week ago now.
Hmm.
International stocks up 27, emerging markets up 25. So international stocks have beaten the S&P so far this year. That's a change that hasn't been the case for a long time.
I saw a projection suggesting that this will continue in 2026, if for no other reason that is because how high the American stocks already are, and
Perhaps.
that some of the at least some of the emerging markets have a higher growth potential to grow into their values.
There's a higher corruption potential too. Yeah,
There's always that.
there's always that. Anyway, is there anything else on this page, Randy, that jumps out at you or that you would like to discuss?
I think we've always, we've talked about it a few times that Bitcoin sometimes is, winning all of these races.
Yeah, there's a few down years in this, but if you look over the long term, it's compounded at a mere 136% over this time period. Um, you know, so but it's middle of the pack this year so
Yeah.
far.
Yeah.
Although we do have some people like Tom Lee, as you mentioned, I think that's expecting even a doubling of Bitcoin from here by year end. So
Yes, and people call me an optimist.
yeah,
People think my expectations are just crazy.
that's right. Yeah. Now
But
there's a lot of green on this chart,
yeah,
but the red periods are painful, and we tend to remember those more than the green
right,
ones.
right.
Um, so we shall see. This next slide sums everything up, Randy.
Okay, all right.
The bull and the bear. The bull has his hand raised over his head in the shape of an L. He doesn't think too highly of his
Of his friend the bear.
friend.
Yeah,
Yeah.
indeed.
Anyway, but this next slide is the most important slide in the whole slide deck.
Okay.
There are some guys that you and I know that wrote a book.
Oh no, that.
Yeah, it's called AI Rising: How to Thrive in the Age of Abundance. This is a guy named Randy Kirk and Brian Wang are the lead authors on this book. Did an amazing job. And I was shocked to find out that you can get this on Kindle for a mere $2.99.
Yeah, I've kept the price down. I think that's the way to do the Kindle thing is keep it low, keep it low.
Yeah.
So
But you'd think in this disruption that's coming from AI that this would be a hot seller.
you would think.
Yeah.
Anybody that's not buying it right now who has any interest in the stock market, any interest in the Magnificent Seven, any interest in the AI future, I mean, this everything that's in this book is like right up to date. When Brian Wang and I were talking the other day about this data center and space thing, he was saying, I said, "Hey, we need to write a new chapter." He goes, "No, we don't." He says, I already wrote this whole thing with regard to putting it on Mars. And so putting it in satellites has got almost all the same reasons as putting it in Mars. So
Yeah.
he's already got it all worked out to where it's in space, then on the moon, and then on Mars. And eventually most of the data centers will be on Mars in his humble opinion.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. What
Yeah.
about your chapter? I mean, I completely rearranged the entire book. And yet you ended up being chapter one in the original version and in the revised version. I don't know, CERN. What does that
Well,
say?
you've got to start with the most important things first, Randy. So that's why. Now, my chapter was the introduction, so it would be pretty strange to put the introduction in the middle of the book.
Yeah, I guess there is a separate introduction, but yours I would call the overview.
Yeah,
So you kind of laid out, all of the stuff that we were going to cover. It was a very, very good chapter. Yeah. So people that like what you do right now, that enjoy you coming on here with your slideshow, even for $2.99, they just need to read your chapter and get the value.
that's true. And also, I would say that if they want to look smart amongst their friends, just buy a few copies and just leave them around their house or leave them around their workplace, and
Right.
it will instantly improve their status amongst their friend group.
And it's also a great gift. If you
That's
got
true.
anybody that's got kids or
Yeah,
grandkids that are entering the market or that are already in the market and their skill sets are potentially going to be disrupted by AI, we've got numerous, numerous, numerous chapters that deal with what jobs are going to be lost, what jobs are going to come, how to turn your current job into an AI job so that you have a better chance of succeeding and staying in the hunt. Lots and lots and lots of content like that.
it'd be a great stocking stuffer for some,
100%.
particularly if you're used to finding coal in your stocking, then this would be a nice addition to the coal.
Right. Because we don't talk much about coal. We talk about natural gas. We talk about
Right.
nuclear. We talk about, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just,
Anyway, that's a shameless plug. Thank you for sticking with us on that.
okay. Yeah. Let's see. It seemed like there was one more thing I wanted to ask you. Oh, yeah. So I'm in a dealership about a year ago. They were having some kind of an event. I guess they were watching while you guys were down at the rodeo. I was watching the rodeo. in this dealer. No, it was a different time. Anyway, whatever. I'm talking to one of the sales engineers, and I'm trying to get stuff out of him. And he knows that I'm not there to buy a car, and there's no business, and there's nobody in the store. So I'm like, well, what about? Have you heard anything about? The only thing that he revealed in that entire conversation was that the number one thing that people asked about when they got into the car, where's Apple CarPlay?
Mm,
That was number one.
yeah.
And I asked him, well, does anybody ever not buy because of that? He says, well, you can't always tell why they don't buy, but that is the number one thing they go, where's Apple CarPlay? So today's announcement, I don't know if you saw it.
I did not.
It's not official. It's all speculation, but it's coming
Okay.
from various different directions.
Yeah.
Is that there's negotiations in play right now, and it looks like CarPlay will be coming to Tesla.
Well, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Uh, maybe more so for Apple than for Tesla, but yeah, no, ultimately it's good for both. Yeah.
Well, one of the headlines said Tesla trying to bulk or try to boost sales of the vehicles by adding CarPlay. So anyway, those folks that wrote that headline must have also recognized this is potentially getting in the way.
Well, Tesla is not going to have a problem selling cars once we get to the point where you have pretty much unsupervised FSD. If what Elon says that people can go behind the wheel and sleep or text,
Yes.
that is right there,
Yep.
the killer app.
Yep.
Now, before I get criticized by a friend of mine online, which I'm sure I will if I don't add this, the killer app actually is not dying in your car,
That's it.
being safer, right? FSD is safer. That's the ultimate killer app.
That's the ultimate killer app.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I don't
It's
know.
unfortunate wording, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if I had this conversation with you last week or not. I don't think we had a show last week. So all of the passive devices on the car that we fought so hard to get the lap belts in. When I say we, I thought the lap belts were a horrible idea. I could picture myself upside down in a lake, not able to get out of my seatbelt. But the seatbelts, the airbags, everything else that we've done, all these passive restraints result in 4,000 fewer deaths per year. Out of
That's
40,000.
that's great. That's
That's
great.
right.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Right.
Right.
And yet Tesla, if anybody that's driving a Tesla right now has reduced their chances by not 10%, they've reduced their chances by 90%
Yeah.
of being in an accident to begin with. So not only death, but maybe more importantly, my partner used to say, because he flew like a million miles a year or whatever, he says, I'm not afraid of an airplane crash. I'm afraid of surviving an airplane crash.
Right.
So, yes,
Well, wouldn't it be nice if we actually had some honest media that actually reported this properly? Right. That's too much to hope for.
a little too much. Yeah.
And then speaking of surviving a crash, did you see that video of these guys? They launched a Model Y off a cliff,
I saw the video.
and as soon as it was airborne, the airbags deployed.
That was
So that's
absolutely,
interesting.
that was super interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You would think they wouldn't deploy until it actually hit something, but no, it deployed when the vehicle was in the air.
There's an awful lot of conversation right now about something that nobody's going to know this, and probably even 10 years from now, people won't know this. The Tesla vehicle now is so fast at seeing stuff ahead
Mm,
and being able to plot all kinds of things is that it knows when to deploy the airbag ahead of the crash.
yeah.
It re-angles the car in order to give the best chance of
Yep.
survival. If it can't completely avoid the crash, I mean, it's making those decisions way ahead of what any human could do and way more cleverly than yeah, at least than you can do. No, no, I know.
Will it also automatically call an accident injury attorney at the scene of an accident so that no, it's not part of it?
Why not? Why
Why
not?
not?
Yeah, how hard could it be?
I mean, FSD is going to put those guys out of business, but maybe there's a partnership opportunity there for a few of them.
There is something about that I believe could sell even more Tesla vehicles. Put all car insurance, car collision insurance attorneys out of business, and the commercials,
Hmm.
and the billboards. I
Just
mean, people might buy
just
the
think
car
what
just to do that.
beautiful billboards we could have if we didn't have to look at accident injury attorney faces as we drive down the highway.
Yes, it'd be highway beautification.
Yeah.
Anything would be better. Yeah.
It's particularly bad if you drive through Louisiana, every billboard is an accident injury attorney.
There's, yeah, I'm not sure it's not different here,
Yeah.
especially to some neighborhoods. It seems to be more prevalent. I'm not sure, well, probably because there's a accident attorney in that neighborhood that's
Hmm.
buying up all the space. Yeah.
Wow, the world could be such a better place.
I got you. Yeah, yeah. And I'm, by the way, not an attorney, and I'm proud of it because I decided I didn't want to put my picture up on Billboard. No, I had many reasons for not taking the bar after I graduated law school, but that's for another show.
Well, as they say, Randy, you and I have faces for radio.
That's true. That's true. What are we doing here? CERN, that's a good place to end it. It's been great having you on, as always. And to all of you out there, it's been great talking to you.
Thanks, Randy.